We've seen this kind of storming performance before from Lewis Hamilton, but it was still an outstanding drive that puts him on pole position for tomorrow's German Grand Prix, alongside Felipe Massa on the front row. Kovalainen, Hamilton's McLaren teammate, is on row 2 with Jarno Trulli in the Toyota, who got ahead of Fernando Alonso, who shares row 3 with Kimi Raikkonen. And then it's Kubica, Webber, Vettel and David Coulthard completing that top 10. But Lewis Hamilton on pole, and that was a supreme test of his character, wasn't it, Mark?
It was a fantastic lap, great achievement for him. But he kind of showed his hand on Friday morning with a sensational lap time, and he's waited until it really counted in this last qualifying session to show it again. The
climax of qualifying, it looked as if it was going to be Massa, didn't it?
It did look like it could be Massa. I think Massa very comfortable in a Ferrari, certainly lap after lap putting in.
Raikkonen, all kinds of handling problems in the first part of that final session. To his credit, he kind of sorted them out simply by calming down, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he maybe had a little bit of overdrive in session.
Nevertheless, it's Kimi Raikkonen on row 3 with Fernando Alonso, who was one of the surprise performers in qualifying. One of the regrets we had was not seeing Lewis Hamilton through the final stadium section. We will show you his entire pole position lap in just a few minutes' time after we've heard from all the top 3 drivers. Certainly enjoyed that. Hamilton, Massa and Kovalainen, the top 3. Behind those on the grid, we've got Jarno Trulli and Fernando Alonso. How big a factor do you expect them to be in the race tomorrow?
I don't think they're going to be a concern for the Ferraris or the McLarens, but I mean, they're a little bit light maybe just to achieve those lap times, but certainly great efforts from Trulli in the Toyota and from Alonso in the Renault. Not expected, especially from Jarno Trulli.
Alonso got the absolute maximum out of the car, didn't he?
He did. I mean, I think there was a little bit of edging up to it, but certainly when it came to it, he put a lap together and he must have hung it out, because we haven't seen that performance for the remainder of this weekend.
Well, we can hear from the former world champion talking with Louise Goodman.
Congratulations, Fernando. Good result. You've got to be happy with that one?
Yeah, I'm very happy, and a nice surprise, because we arrived to qualifying with a little bit some doubts, unsure about the car performance. In fact, Nelsinho was out of Q1, and we were a little bit concerned. So now this 5th place is a nice surprise at the end.
What kind of doubts?
Well, the setup was not totally right all the weekend. This wind is affecting a lot our car, and we are a little bit inconsistent in the pace. But all the laps in qualifying were perfect. I was lucky to get the maximum of the car, and happy with the result.
How do you think this is going to compare to your race pace? Because you've been up there in qualifying before, but dropped off on Sundays.
Yeah, we see. Race pace is always one of our biggest problems. We slide too much, so we wear the tires more than the others, and then at the end of the stints we cannot be any quicker compared to the others. So I think tomorrow is still a concern, the race pace, but hopefully we can keep this 5th position till the end.
Fernando Alonso, who shares row 3 with Kimi Raikkonen for the race tomorrow, which in its own way should be very interesting indeed. We heard Heikki Kovalainen say in the press conference that Lewis Hamilton absolutely nailed it in qualifying today, and we'll show you the lap that gave him pole position in its entirety when we return. Lewis Hamilton has taken pole position for tomorrow's German Grand Prix with a quite brilliant lap here at Hockenheim. It was a lap we saw precious little of during the course of our live coverage. So let's show you it now in its entirety from the perspective of the lap. And to do that under pressure, just one hit for pole position, is extraordinary, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, but that's Lewis Hamilton. He can take the pressure, absorbs it, and actually rises to it. And that's what you see time and time again with him.
Well, it was a lap that I'm sure absolutely delighted his McLaren boss. And we can hear from Ron Dennis right now.
Well, a great result, Ron. I'm sure you're very happy. Has it been trouble-free for Lewis so far this weekend?
For both cars, really. They've run a bit wide a couple of times, but no car damage. And, we're very pleased with the outcome of qualifying. Got a good strategy for the race. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Strategically, why is it so important to be on the front row and specifically on pole where Lewis is?
All the circuits, really, but especially the high-speed ones, are the circuits where really you're much better off if you're in clean air. Inevitably the nature of these cars see you with understeer if you're too close to cars in front of you, and it's going to hamper your mid-race performance. So leading from the front of any Grand Prix is the best place to be, but here's especially good.
I'm sure you never underestimate Ferrari, but it does look like you have the edge on them this weekend. Is that the way you see it?
Well, we're just trying to do a really good job. We brought some good developments to Silverstone and in fact Manicourt. We weren't able to exploit them in Manicourt, but also looking forward to Hungary. We've got a nice package of modifications coming there, so hopefully you can keep the momentum up, but of course we're focused on tomorrow.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks very much.
Do you also feel it's a particularly important pole position here at Hockenheim?
I think it's important here. I tell you what the problem will be, though, is that if he's got Kovalainen and got Massa behind him, Lewis, and he does get cleanly off the start, because you've got that long straight leading up to that first chicane, the guys can slipstream, and then maybe somebody just thinks, OK, I'm going to have a little go here. You might carry extra 2 or 3 miles an hour in and try and get underneath Lewis into that chicane. That's the biggest problem when you lead out here. But saying that, if you make the break and you cut that slipstream away, you're off and running.
So he might have a bit of defending to do, but the other point of view for Lewis, that in terms of the championship positions, it's been good qualifying with Raikkonen way back, with Kubica way back as well.
Yeah, those guys have definitely got a long day tomorrow in the office, and I think Kubica's not really got the car. Ferrari with Raikkonen not really matched at this moment. Tomorrow will be for Lewis, defending from Kovalainen, his teammate, and from Felipe Massa, who definitely is on form.
Instead, up on row 2, we've got Jarno Trulli in the Toyota, and he also has been talking with Louise.
Well done, Jarno. That's equal to your best qualifying of the season. Did it come quite easily, or did you have to wring that one out of the car?
It never come easy, but I've been pushing hard and improving through the qualifying, especially because we made some changes from the last practice to the qualifying. So at the beginning I was not quite right with the balance of the car, but then we set it up with tight pressure and front wing, and in the end it came in a very good lap. And I'm glad that it came, and I'm also happy because it's first of all our home Grand Prix for Toyota, but also is the best way to thank all the team, which is putting a lot of effort to develop the car and give me always a competitive car. In the end, our aim is to finish fourth in the Constructor Championship, so tomorrow aim is to score some more points.
And what are the chances of getting those, and how high up the point scale can you get, do you think?
Tomorrow's race is one of the races which we have to follow until the end. We more or less everybody know exactly what can happen with the tires, with the strategy, but obviously everyone plays his own game. So we will find out tomorrow. I think that realistically we can score points. Thinking about the podium always, because as far as we have hope, you always have to believe in it.
And you have already suggested that Jarno Trulli and Fernando Alonso might struggle to be part of the battle for race victory. Really, a podium finish is the maximum objective for both.
I think in circumstances it may be achievable, but I think if the front runners stay in touch with each other, then that would be difficult for Alonso or Trulli. But saying that, I think Trulli has been qualifying extremely well, but he has of late been putting in some good race performances, and there may well be a situation where Toyota can finish in the top 6 with strong points.
So let's talk Ferrari. Massa obviously in great form. What's gone wrong for Raikkonen?
Kimi is seeming like one of these situations where he's turned up at the weekend, and from the beginning of it, it just doesn't seem to be right. And we haven't really been able to put a finger on what the problem is. It definitely looks like he's uncomfortable behind the wheel. The balance of the car's not there for him. But when he does turn up and that happens, it doesn't seem to get rectified throughout the weekend. It seems to stay there. And that's a little bit of an issue what Ferrari have had as well. They come and are fast, or they come and are a little bit off kilter, and that seems to be the issue with Kimi this weekend.
Really struggled early in that final session. A little bit later when he calmed down, the car seemed to be rather more hooked up.
Well, I think there's a little bit of that to it. Maybe, a little bit of frustration coming out behind the wheel, but saying that, the outright lap time still wasn't there with Kimi Raikkonen and the Ferrari.
So it's a mixed day for Ferrari. Let's hear from Stefano Domenicali.
Well, Stefano, what happened to Kimi?
It was not really a perfect lap, so we need to see. But anyway, the most important thing that it seems that the pace is consistent, so that's the most important factor for the race of tomorrow.
It wasn't only the lap, was it? I mean, the whole qualifying session, indeed, the whole day, Kimi hasn't looked as fast as Massa.
Yeah, that is true in a way, but we need to stay cool as always. We need to understand and see.
Is it understeer, oversteer, what?
We can say understeer, oversteer, but let's see tomorrow.
But the car's just not handling for him.
Yeah, well, we need to work. If it's like that, we will see what we can do for tomorrow.
It needs to work. There's not much changes you can make. The car's in Parc Fermé now.
As always, we will see tomorrow.
Okay, so Felipe's carrying Ferrari's hopes then this weekend, fair to say.
Both cars. Why? We have 2 cars, so let's see tomorrow.
No, because Felipe seems faster, plainly faster.
We will see tomorrow. Thank you.
We shall see tomorrow. Ferrari will be a force, that's for sure. But BMW seem to be losing ground now.
I think BMW are losing out slightly, but I think also people like Red Bull and Renault are catching them up in terms of outright progress, what's being made over the season, and that seems to be hampering them. I think BMW needs to put a little bit more work in, but maybe the focus already gone to 2009.
Well, Nick Heidfeld missed the top 10 shootout. Robert Kubica didn't qualify especially well, but let's hear from Kubica, of course, has got a big shout in this championship battle.
Robert, 7th place, is that where you'd say you're at the moment in terms of the pace of the car?
I mean, it's not easy, for sure, and 7th place, of course, could be better, but looking our pace, I'm already happy where I am, especially that we have a few problems this weekend, from my mistake in free practice 1 to the problem in free practice 2 to the problem in free practice 3, so not a lot of running this weekend, and yeah, but finally qualifying turned to be a bit better and a bit more lucky, and yeah, here I am.
So what do you think might be the single biggest factor in deciding the race tomorrow? A lot of concern still about the weather, a lot of concern about tyres as well.
I think that would be the big factor. It would be weather, whether it's raining or whether maybe we get a bit of heat and the sun comes out. If that happens, then that plays into Ferrari's hand, because they definitely have a little bit better tyre management. They can make the car last a lot longer with tyre wear. At the other side of it, I think McLaren still have a little bit more left. But saying that, Domenicali, team manager there at Ferrari, seems very confident. And maybe that confidence is coming from a fuel level that Massa's running. Maybe feels there's a little bit more left in there. And that's going to show.
He is also trying to conserve those tyres. Is Lewis good at that?
Lewis is good, yes, certainly. But he's a little bit harder on the tyres. He puts a little bit more load for them. And the McLaren seems to eat away at his tyres slightly more than the Ferrari. That's the problem. So it's not so much him as such. It's a little bit the makeup of his car.
Right, it's a race full of question marks then once again tomorrow, this German Grand Prix, and we'll leave you this afternoon with a question mark as well. One more try at our ITV F1 competition.
And Santander, you and a friend will have VIP hospitality at the historic Monza racetrack on Saturday the 13th and Sunday the 14th of September. You'll have your flights included, 3 nights accommodation at a 4-star hotel near the track, and transfers to and from the airport and the circuit. To be in with a chance of winning this prize from Abbey and Santander, just answer this question correctly. Which team is based closest to Monza? Is it A, Ferrari, B, Renault, or C, Honda? To enter, call 090 4959 6789. Calls cost £1 from a BT landline. Calls from other networks may be higher, and from mobiles will be considerably more. Or you can text the word F1 and your answer, A, B or C, to 63337. Text cost £1 plus 1 standard network rate message. Digital, satellite and cable viewers can enter by pressing their red button now. You can also enter for free at itv.com until 5 p.m. on Friday the 25th of July. Entrance must be 18 or over, and lines close at 5 p.m. on Tuesday the 22nd of July. Entries made after closing time won't be counted but may still be charged.
And good luck with that. There'll be one more chance of getting all the details in our race build-up tomorrow. No points, of course, given for qualifying and claiming pole position. Many think perhaps there should be, but what has Lewis proved once again about his talents today?
I think he just proved that under pressure he can take everything and everybody on the day, and I think that's the case with that pole position lap. Outstanding, but it puts him in a great position for that race tomorrow, and where those 10 points are there to be collected, and that's what it's all about, and he knows that. The World Championship is there for him to take, and a couple of guys in red cars are going to try and make that not possible, but only one tomorrow I think has got a real chance with Massa behind the wheel. And
this is all the momentum and the self-confidence that's come from Silverstone we're seeing surface again, you feel?
I think it's a massive lift for him from the Silverstone win, but also let's make sure that we contribute towards what McLaren have done. McLaren have stepped up, given both the guys a better car, and they've got some more improvements coming. Ferrari realise that and know that. A lot more work to be done.
And you feel McLaren have now moved ahead of Ferrari?
I think there's a little bit of a sway now towards McLaren being a stronger package, but saying that, let's see what goes on with those tyres tomorrow during the race. That's the all-important factor.
And the important thing tomorrow is keep it mistake-free.
Mistake-free. The hairpin, yet again, will be the problem for all the drivers. Keep it clean, keep it mistake-free, as you say.
OK. Mark, thanks very much indeed. Let me just remind you that over on ITV4 at the moment, there's our continued coverage of the Tour de France. Stage 14 of the Tour de France currently live on ITV4. That'll be followed at 5 by this afternoon's GP2 support race from here at Hockenheim. And tomorrow's GP2 race, you can see that live at 9:25 tomorrow morning on ITV4. It'll be followed by a rerun of the qualifying highlights, and then at midday on ITV1 we start our build-up to the start of this German Grand Prix here at Hockenheim. Lewis Hamilton will start from pole position, the 9th pole of his career. He's the 4-man in the championship. He leads the championship. Can he prove it all once again in the German Grand Prix tomorrow? Bye for now.